Fighter is going online. All clear, Commander. Put me in the thick of it. One bad guy. Things were a little hairy for a second there. No more hostiles detected. On my way, Commander. Fighter retrieval commencing. retrieval process complete, Commander.
Raid on Phoenix Space. An attempt by armed intruders to access Phoenix Base in the Mean system has been foiled. The base is the home of Engineer Antar. Security Chief Harper Vargas gave this report. Defensive systems alerted us to a small group of intruders who had breached the base's perimeter. Our teams engaged them in combat and forced them back to a waiting ship. Unfortunately, we were unable to identify the ship or prevent it from escaping. During the incursion, the intruders used scan detected. Explosives to sabotage the base's power network. Fortunately, the base remains operational. Rantar told the media, "I believe this was an attempt to steal research data or samples of Guardian technology, the implications of which are most disturbing. Although the attempt failed, it has disrupted my important research."
Roger that. I'll take care of the mothership, Commander. All clear, Commander. Put me in the thick of it. Fighter retrieval initiated, Commander. Bay doors closed. Hangar is secure, Commander. Hold tight, Commander. Fighter is going online. All clear, Commander. Put me in the thick of it. That's gotta hurt. Target down.
Programming unit drone. Programming unit drone.
On my way, Commander. Fighter retrieval commencing.
Limpet drone error. Deploy cargo hatch. Scan detected. Collector limpet expired. Cargo scoop deployed. Programming unit drone. Cargo scoop retracted.
Bay doors closed. Hangar is secure, Commander.
Power plant capacity exceeded. Cargo scoop deployed. Programming unit drone.
requested pad 17. You're approved for automated docking sequence.
Mars Tribune linked to spy robots. The Federal Security Service has targeted the Mars Tribune as part of its investigation into robots carrying concealed surveillance programs. Lieutenant Inspector Ramesh Thorne made this statement. The personal robots of former Congressman Morgan Unwin and actor Thomas Turai were found to contain surveillance programs. In recent weeks, both were the subject of incriminating articles published exclusively in the Mars Tribune. Public relations guru Anya Blackriver, also the owner of a spy robot, was recently exposed by the Tribune for concealing various scandals on behalf of her celebrity clients. In fact, all the owners of affected robots live in the Sol system, which is the focus of the Tribune's journalism. We are therefore interviewing Tribune staff to establish...
Your request for docking has been cancelled.
They use these robots to gather private data in order to obtain material for exclusive stories. Legal...
Docking request approved. Set course for landing pad 40.
Representatives of the Cordova Group, the conglomerate that owns the Mars Tribune, have challenged the FSS for making libelous and baseless accusations.
Continue on approach.
The Collective. Technology journalist Harlan Asri has published an article in the Federal Times regarding a mysterious criminal group known only as the Collective. Several recent digital crimes, including the theft of 1 billion credits from Zachary Rackham, have now been attributed to the Collective. Security forces have launched investigations, but it seems that the name is already well known among hacker communities. The Collective is a group of anti-authority activists who believe that all information should be publicly available. It has existed for some years, but until recently its activities have been small-scale. Nobody knows the identity of the group's members.
You're on the deck. Engaging docking restraints. Enjoy your stay at our facility, Commander.
Has no spokespersons or apparent leaders. As anarchists, they delight in flouting the law, believing that all data should be in the public domain, except, of course, data about themselves. Some see the collective as irresponsible criminals, while others paint them as modern-day Robin Hoods. Either way, as possibly the best hackers in the galaxy, it's likely we'll be hearing more about them in the future. Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Gibson Kincaid has been announced as the winner of the Alliance presidential election, and will continue serving as president of the Alliance. Kincaid obtained a small majority of the public vote, defeating Councillor Elijah Beck. Prime Minister Redmond Mahone said the Alliance Assembly was still debating Kincaid's proposal to imbue the presidential role with executive powers. An attempt by armed intruders to access Phoenix Base in the Mean System, home of the engineer Antar, has been foiled. Ramtar said he believed the thwarted raid was an attempt to steal research data or samples of Guardian technology. In other news, the Federal Security Service has targeted the Mars Tribune as part of its investigation into robots carrying concealed surveillance programs. The development follows news that several of those found to be in possession of spy robots were the subject of incriminating articles published by the Tribune. The conglomerate that owns the Mars Tribune has challenged any suggestion of wrongdoing. Billionaire businessman Zachary Rackham has been targeted by a highly sophisticated hack that withdrew 1 billion credits from his personal account. Rackham Capital Investments confirmed that the criminals left a message encoded in Rackham's account, "The collective plays to win." It has been speculated that the hack was intended to reclaim the billion credit prize that Rackham won in the Federal Grand Lottery. Meanwhile, the Palin Institute has announced a new research program designed to discern the motives behind the Thargoids' unrelenting aggression. The Institute has asked the galactic community to contribute Thargoid research material to the campaign. Finally, the Close Encounters Corps has announced that its appeal for commodities has reached a successful conclusion, having received an overwhelming response from the galactic community. The materials delivered to Crown Prospect over the past week will allow the construction of a scientific medical to research the nebula surrounding the BD-12-1172 system. Those are the main stories this week. Mars Tribune linked to spy robots. The Federal Security Service has targeted the Mars Tribune as part of its investigation into robots carrying concealed surveillance programs. Lieutenant Inspector Ramesh Thor made this statement. The personal robots of former Congressman Morgan Unwin and actor Thomas Turay were found to contain surveillance programs. In recent weeks, both were the subject of incriminating articles published exclusively in the Mars Tribune. Public relations guru Anya Blackriver, also the owner of a spy robot, was recently exposed by the Tribune for concealing various scandals on behalf of her celebrity clients. In fact, all the owners of affected robots live in the Sol system, which is the focus of the Tribune's journalism. We are therefore interviewing Tribune staff to establish if they used these robots to gather private data in order to obtain material for exclusive stories. Legal representatives of the Cordova Group, the conglomerate that owns the Mars Tribune, have challenged the FSS for making libelous and baseless accusations. Raid on Phoenix Base. An attempt by armed intruders to access Phoenix Base in the Mean System has been foiled. The base is the home of engineer Antar. Security Chief Harper Vargas gave this report. Defensive systems alerted us to a small group of intruders who had breached the base's perimeter. Our teams engaged them in combat and forced them back to a waiting ship. Unfortunately, we were unable to identify the ship or prevent it from escaping. During the incursion, the intruders used explosives to sabotage the base's power network. Fortunately, the base remains operational. Rantar told the media, "I believe this was an attempt to steal research data or samples of Guardian technology, the implications of which are most disturbing. Although the attempt failed, it has disrupted my important research." Close Encounters Corps initiative concludes. The Close Encounters Corps has announced that its appeal for commodities has reached a successful conclusion, having received an overwhelming response from the galactic community. A huge number of muon images were delivered to Crown Prospect over the past week. These will allow the construction of a scientific megaship to research the nebula surrounding the BD-12-1172 system. With the initiative at an end, Admiral Anton Verne of the Close Encounters Corps issued the following statement. I am grateful for the professionalism displayed by the pilots who took part in this project, and thank them on behalf of our researchers. New horizons and new worlds await us. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from Crown Prospect, in the Kagatsuchi system. Palin Institute Campaign. The Palin Institute has announced an accelerated program of study to analyze a range of xenobiological data, and perhaps discern the motives behind the Thargoids' unrelenting aggression. Professor Cora Shaw, director of the Palin Institute, released the following statement. In recent months, the Institute has performed countless studies on alien technology and physiology, and our stock of xenobiological samples is severely depleted. For this robust new study, we require a large amount of Thargoid material to support a wide range of experiments. The wider Revolutionary Party, which is supporting the campaign, has placed an open order for various Thargoid materials and promised to reward pilots who deliver these goods to Obsidian Orbital in the Maya system. The organization has also placed a kill order on all ships on its
Ship is released. Take care when you
materials to ride a Revolutionary Party can do so safely. The campaign begins on the 18th of October 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Rackham hacked. Billionaire businessman Zachary Rackham has been targeted by a highly sophisticated hack that successfully withdrew 1 billion credits from his personal account. A spokesperson for Rackham Capital Investments informed shareholders. We have reported the theft to the authorities and are reviewing our computer security systems. The only clue as to the criminal's identity is a message they left encoded in Mr. Rackham's account, the collective plays to win. Financial journalist Brianna Blanco commented in the Federal Times. The purpose of the hack was evidently to reclaim the billion credit prize that Rackham won in the Federal Grand Lottery. What Rackham Capital Investments didn't reveal was that the money was redistributed equally amongst employees who were denied their company pensions years ago. There is a sweet irony to the old pirate Calicozac having his money stolen by cyber pirates. Whoever the collective might be, they seem to have both a sense of justice and a sense of humor. Kincaid wins election. Gibson Kincaid has been announced as the winner of the Alliance presidential election. He will continue serving as president of the Alliance. Kincaid obtained a small majority as a public vote, defeating Councillor Elijah Beck. Entrepreneur Fazia Silva, the third candidate in the race, was recently found dead and is the subject of an Interpol investigation. President Kincaid addressed his followers at a victory rally. My thanks go to every citizen who saw the wisdom of my vision. I vow to lead you into a glorious future.
Frameshift drive charging.
Prime Minister Redmond Mahone gave a statement to the media. I offer my congratulations to President Kincaid on being successfully re-elected. The Assembly is continuing to debate his proposal to impeach the presidential rule with executive powers. We have agreed to extend the deadline by 1 week, after which a parliamentary vote will decide the outcome. Presidential candidates make final pledges. The two remaining candidates in the Alliance presidential race have returned to the alien system to make their final campaign vows. In the parliamentary chamber of the Assembly, Elijah Beck addressed his fellow council members. The Alliance occupies a unique position, and as such must remain true to its principles.
Frameshift drive charging.
My focus as president will be on attracting more independent systems to our interstellar family. He was followed by the current incumbent, President Gibson Kincaid. Fazia Silva's assassination was an assault on our democracy. The Alliance's enemies are growing bold, and we must do the same. I beseech the Assembly to imbue the presidential role with executive powers, to transform our alliance into a true superpower capable of challenging its adversaries. Prime Minister Redmond Mahone thanked both candidates and wished them good luck in the election. The public vote will take place on Tuesday the 16th of October and the resulting will be announced later that week. Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Journalist Gethin Okonkwo has shared more details about his time with the Far God cult. In a detailed article, Okonkwo expressed relief at Far God believers returning to their hive chapels following weeks of persecution. The journalist said he would be collaborating with exotheologian Dr. Alfred Alianov to produce a definitive account of the sect. The Federal Security Service has discovered more personal administration robots containing concealed surveillance programs, prompting hundreds of businesses and individuals to destroy their personal robots. It is understood that all the affected models are made by the Achilles Corporation. In other news, technology company Herculean Machines has begun mass production of its new device, the DuraDrive personal computer. Following the successful performance of its prototype at the Rakamotra Tech Expo, the company has received corporate funding from a range of sources, including Rackham Capital Investments. The two remaining candidates in the Alliance presidential race have returned to the Alioth system to make their final campaign vows. Elijah Beck said that his focus as president would be on attracting more systems to the Alliance, while current President Gibson Kincaid renewed his plea to imbue the presidential role with executive powers. Meanwhile, the Close Encounters Corps has announced plans to construct a scientific megaship in the BD-12-1172 system. The new vessel will allow research teams to map and explore the planets of the surrounding nebula. The Close Encounters Corps has placed an open order for various commodities to facilitate construction of the megaship. Finally, Broadcast Cobra has announced that its appeal for commodities has reached a successful conclusion, having received an overwhelming response from the galactic community. Commodities contributed to the campaign will be used to construct a megaship, from which the organization will broadcast its take on current events. And those are the main stories this week. DuraDrive enters production. Technology company Herculean Machines has begun mass production of its new device, the DuraDrive personal computer. Following the successful performance of its prototype at the Rakamotra Tech Expo, the company has received corporate funding from a range of sources, including Rackham Capital Investments. Maddox Hurd, CEO of Herculean Machines, told the media, "As I've said before, what people want is a reliable tool that is tough enough to handle anything. I'd like to once again thank the galactic community for providing the commodities that made our success possible." There has been no comment from rival CEO Scorpio. Broadcast Cobra initiative concludes. Broadcast Cobra has announced that its appeal for commodities has reached a successful conclusion, having received an overwhelming response from the galactic community. Vast quantities of thorium, indium and superconductors were delivered to SARP with Doc over the past week. These will allow construction of a megaship from which the organization will broadcast its take on current events. Alessandra Coe of Broadcast Cobra issued the following statement. "We'd like to thank everyone who supported this campaign. We hope that wherever you are, you're always listening. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their awards from SARP with document.
Core Dynamics, Mike India, Romeo, Heavy. Automated Flight Control Protocol initiated. Please submit a request prior to landing. Docking permission authorized. You may proceed to landing pad 08.
Core Initiative. The Close Encounters Corps has announced its intention to construct a scientific megaship in the BD-12-1172 system. The new vessel will allow research teams to map and explore the planets of the surrounding nebula. Admiral Anton Verne of the Close Encounters Corps issued the following statement. An unplanting gear deployed. Survey groups have expressed interest in mapping the nebula surrounding the BD-12-1172 system. This new scientific vessel will act as a base from which they can research the abundance of unexplored planets throughout the nebula. To facilitate construction of the megaship, the Close Encounters Corps has placed an open order for moon images, and has promised to...
Docking procedure completed. Ship secured. Greetings, Commander.
Pilots who deliver these commodities to Crown Prospect, in the Kagatsuchi system, The organization has also placed a kill order on all ships on its wanted list, to ensure that those contributing material can do so safely. The campaign begins on the 11th of October 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Increased fear of spy robots. The Federal Security Service has discovered more personal administration robots containing concealed surveillance programs. Independent reporter Flint Firemaker Lavos discussed the situation on the Rewired news feed. In recent weeks, hundreds of individuals and businesses have destroyed their personal robots. Mass robophobia, or paranoia that the robots might be secretly recording them, makes you wonder what these people are trying to hide. How many millions of robots are spying on us right now? And for what purpose? Is it a coincidence that all the affected models are made by the Achilles Corporation? Maybe blackmailing the rich is their new revenue stream. Survivors of the Far God. Independent journalist Gethin Okonkwo has shared more details about his time with the Far God cult. After 3 months of living as a Far God worshipper, I'm now acclimatizing to life as an ordinary citizen. There, I was known only as third witness of the 10th chapter, although that was more of a title than a name. Identical in our robes, we were all nameless servants of the commune. That may sound despotic, but there was a strangely seductive aspect to surrendering one's identity. At times I almost experienced the tranquility that true adherents seem to feel. I'm relieved to see Far God believers returning to their hive chapels, having survived weeks of persecution. This has been a baptism of fire for the sect, with hundreds dead and several chapters still missing. Many other doomsayer cults have since faded away or, like the Church of Eternal Void, been outlawed. But it seems that the Far God faith will endure, perhaps even beyond our conflict with the Argoids. I have been contacted by the exotheologian Dr. Alfred Ulyanov, with a view to combining our research. Together we hope to produce the definitive account of this tenacious religion. Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Fazia Silva, one of the 3 candidates in the Alliance presidential race, has been found dead.
The friendship charge detected.
Has been speculation that the murder was a political killing, motivated by Silva's proposed changes to Alliance financial policy. Condolences have been delivered by Prime Minister Redmond Mahone and both of them Silva's election rivals, Gibson Kincaid and Elijah Beck. Technology company Herculean Machines dominated the recent Rackham Ultratech Expo, which took place on Wednesday 3 October. Billionaire Zachary Rackham was delighted with Herculean's DuraDrive, and agreed to authorize preliminary funding for the device. The Talk, a rival product from Supertech, had a less successful showing. In other news, the Federal Security Service has discovered more administration robots fitted with secret surveillance programs. In each case, the robot was a PA912 model, manufactured by the Achilles Corporation. The company has announced that it is cooperating with the FSS investigation. Juanita Bishop has failed to be elected to federal Congress. Many of Bishop's followers have abandoned her in the wake of Gethin Okonkwo's investigation, which found no connection between the Far God sect and the Argoids, while Congress members have taken a stand against Mrs. Bishop for cultivating civil unrest. Meanwhile, media organization Broadcast Cobra has announced its intention to build a megaship in the HIP 16038 system. The organization, which specializes in politics and current events, aims to reach a wider audience with the construction of this mobile studio, and has placed an open order for materials to facilitate construction. Finally, Mold Federal Mining Incorporated has confirmed that its appeal for commodities to supply an Oktoberfest celebration in the Bagui system has been enthusiastically received by the galactic community. Hundreds of pilots supported the campaign by delivering commodities to Liavit Port, and by protecting traders in the Bagui system. And those are the main stories this week. Further surveillance robots discovered. The Federal Security Service has discovered more administration robots fitted with secret surveillance programs. Lieutenant Inspector Ramesh Thorne informed the media. Our investigation into Lloyd Hardaker's admin robot, which secretly recorded evidence of corporate fraud, has broadened significantly. Acting on reports of unusual behavior, we have found 5 further robots containing hidden surveillance programs. In each case, The robot was a PA912 model, manufactured by the Achilles Corporation. The robot's owners are now helping us with our inquiries. 2 of the 5 owners have been identified. Don Chow is the CEO of Kuiper Mining Incorporated, while Anya Black River runs a public relations consultancy with offices in Olympus Village, San Francisco and Columbus Station. A spokesperson for the Achilles Corporation gave this statement. We are cooperating with the FSS investigation, and would like to reassure the public that our robots are as trustworthy as ever. This illegal surveillance has nothing whatsoever to do with the Achilles Corporation. Over the last decade, the Achilles Corporation has sold over 20 million robots throughout the Federation, including nearly 300,000 PA912 models. Herculean Machines dominates Expo. Technology journalist Harlan Asri has published a full account of the Rackham Ultratech Expo, which took place on Wednesday, 3rd October. All eyes were on Herculean Machines and Supertech, whose competing designs for personal computers have created a real buzz. Following lavish presentations from rival CEOs Maddox Hurd and Scorpio Devoro, prototypes of the Jura Drive and Talk were given to attendees. Unfortunately for Supertech, the Talk's holographic systems did not work as planned. Most users were surrounded by an incomprehensible aura of colors and images that, in some cases, brought on nausea. The Jura Drive, by contrast, functioned perfectly. The highlight of the expo came when Zachary Rackham tested a Jura Drive by jumping on it, before using it to contact his chief accountant and authorize preliminary funding for the device. He told the crowd, "I could have done with one of these back in my spacefaring days." It's clear that the support given to Herculean Machines by the galactic community has allowed them to deliver a superior product, one we can expect to see on the market soon. Presidential candidate murdered. Fazia Silva, one of the 3 candidates in the Alliance presidential race, has been found dead. She is believed to have been murdered. Inspector Erin Sangster of Alliance Interpol informed the media. Miss Silva's body was found in a room at Hume Orbital, where she was staying during her presidential campaign. Medical teams detected traces of poison, making this a suspected homicide. There has already been speculation that this was a political killing, motivated by Silva's proposed changes to Alliance financial policy. The entrepreneur also had fierce rivals in the business world. Her sister Tash Mira Silva, who has been overseeing the Silva corporate empire, stated, "Our family is devastated. We can't believe that Fazia has been taken from us. I will honor her by continuing to run the companies that she made so successful." Condolences have been delivered by Prime Minister Edmund Mahone, and both of Miss Silva's election rivals, Gibson Kincaid and Elijah Beck. President Kincaid said, "This tragedy constitutes a direct attack on our democracy. The Alliance's enemies will do anything they can to destabilize us, including murder. If we are to fight back, we will need strong leadership." Oktoberfest supply campaign successful. Gold Federal Mining Incorporated has confirmed that its appeal for commodities to supply an Oktoberfest celebration in the Bagui system has been enthusiastically received by the galactic community. Hundreds of pilots supported the campaign by delivering commodities to Leavitt Port, and by protecting traders in the Bagui system. A spokesperson from Old Federal Mining Incorporated issued the following statement. "Thanks to so many generous pilots, Bagui Oktoberfest will now go ahead. Travelers will be able to put aside their differences, forget their troubles and celebrate life. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from Leavitt Port, in the Bagui system." Broadcast Cobra Initiative. Media organization Broadcast Cobra has announced its intention to build a megaship in the HIP 16038 system. The organization, which specializes in politics and current events, aims to reach a much wider audience with the construction of this mobile studio. Alessandra Coe of Broadcast Cobra issued the following statement. "As a broadcaster, we like the idea of a ship that can carry our signal to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. A megaship will allow us to transmit to systems that other broadcasters can only dream of reaching. To facilitate construction of the megaship, Broadcast Cobra has placed an open order for thorium, indium and superconductors, and has promised to reward pilots who deliver these commodities to Sarpwith Dock, in the HIP 16038 system. The organization has also placed a kill order on all ships on its wanted list, to ensure that those contributing material can do so safely. The campaign begins on the 4th of October 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Bishop's congressional bid collapses. Juanita Bishop, whose protest movement against the Far God cult gained broad support, has failed to be elected to federal Congress. Independent political analyst Vaughan Niven published this summary. Many of Juanita Bishop's followers have abandoned her in the wake of Gethin Okonkwo's investigation, which found no connection between the Far God sect and the Thargoids. As a result, Mrs. Bishop's congressional campaign has collapsed. There has also been a sea change in attitude within Congress itself. The majority of members have now taken a stand against Mrs. Bishop for cultivating civil unrest and violating the Federation's principles of religious freedom. Juanita Bishop gave a forceful statement to the media. If Congress can't see that these people are dangerous, then they're fools. These Thargoid spies need to be rounded up and executed before they murder us all. History will prove me right. Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. The 3 candidates for the Alliance presidency have spent much of the past week delivering their campaign messages. While incumbent President Gibson Kincaid has demanded radical change to the Constitution, rival candidates Fazia Silva and Elijah Beck have adopted more conservative stances, focusing on economic growth and civil liberty respectively. The new president of the Alliance will be announced in October. The Federal Intelligence Agency has terminated its investigation into the Far God cult. In a statement, the FIA confirmed that information provided by undercover reporter Gethin Okonkwo had cleared the sect of any suspicion. All worshippers who were detained have now been released. In other news, rival companies Herculean Machines and Supertech have resumed development of their new personal computers, following successful requests for public support. Both companies have now returned their attention to the Rackham Tech Expo, where they will unveil prototypes of their new designs. It is suspected that the amount of commodities each company received might be the deciding factor in their commercial success. Meanwhile, the personal administration robot of business magnate Lloyd Hardacre, which recently revealed evidence of his criminal activity, has been found to contain a concealed surveillance program. The revelation came from the Federal Security Service, which found a surveillance program within the robot's coreware that was covertly copying certain types of data. The FSS now believes that Mr. Hardacre was the target of an undercover spy operation. Finally, citizens of the Bagui system are attempting to resurrect the ancient Oktoberfest celebration, an annual event based on a centuries-old Earth tradition. World Federal Mining Incorporated has agreed to finance the event, and is placing an open order for various commodities. A spokesperson for the organization promised the festival would be a party like no other. And those are the main stories this week. Far God cult investigation ends. The Federal Intelligence Agency has terminated its investigation into the Far God cult. Senior Agent Micah Whitefield informed the media. The information provided by Gethin Okonkwo on the inner workings of the Far God sect has been verified as genuine. In the absence of any evidence regarding communication with the Thargoids, our investigation is concluded. All worshippers who were detained have now been released. We are indebted to Mr. Okonkwo for his highly detailed report. We had hoped to gain similar insights via our own undercover agent, who infiltrated the sect, but we are still awaiting his report. The exotheologian Dr. Alfred Ulyanov, who was arrested due to his research into the religion, commented, "I offer the highest praise to Gethin Okonkwo, whose dedication has confirmed the innocuous nature of the Far God faith. Sadly, this experience illustrates that intolerance and fear of the other remain deeply embedded in human nature, no matter how advanced our species becomes." Robot surveillance program discovered. The personal administration robot of business magnate Lloyd Hardacre, which recently revealed evidence of his criminal activity, has been found to contain a concealed surveillance program. Lieutenant Inspector Ramesh Thorne, of the Federal Security Service, made a statement to the media. FSS technicians discovered a highly sophisticated surveillance program within the robot's coreware that was covertly copying certain types of data, namely anything illegal. A minor malfunction caused the robot to incorporate the data into a company presentation. Our working theory is that Mr. Hardacre was the target of an undercover spy operation. but not one coordinated by any legal authority. Clearly, someone harbored suspicions about Hardacre and was looking for proof. We are conducting interviews with his business associates and competitors. When asked about the robot, Lieutenant Inspector Thorne added, "The robot is manufactured by the Achilles Corporation, and is a relatively primitive machine, designed to coordinate information and perform administrative tasks. Such robots are incapable of independent behavior, so this one must have been subjected to comprehensive reprogramming." Computer companies resume development. Rival companies Herculean Machines and Supertech have resumed development of their new personal computers. Harlow Nasri, technology journalist at the Federal Times, has been following events. After the mysterious fire that destroyed Supertech's factory and the equally mysterious scandal that scared off Herculean Machines' investors, it seemed like neither company would complete its new designs. But successful requests for public support have turned that around. Maddox Hurd and Scorpio Devoro, the heads of Herculean and Supertech respectively, both received enough materials to produce functional prototypes for the Rackham Ultratech Expo on Wednesday the 3rd of October. This expo is crucial for both companies. Rackham Capital Investments and other corporate sponsors will be paying close attention, and Zachary Rackham himself will be present, eager to get his hands on the latest gadgets. Both the customizable Duradrive and the wearable Talk have captured the public imagination, but the prototype's performance is key. The amount of commodities each company received might be the deciding factor in their commercial success. Oktoberfest in Bagwe. Citizens of the Bagwe system are attempting to resurrect the ancient Oktoberfest celebration, an annual event based on a centuries-old Earth tradition. The scale of the event is unprecedented, and local suppliers are reeling due to the weight of demand. Consequently, Mold Federal Mining Incorporated has volunteered to finance an emergency initiative that will supply the required resources. A spokesperson for the company issued the following statement. "This will be a party like no other, where people can come together to celebrate life, love and beer. We are honored to play our part in supporting a festival such as this. Nothing is more important to us than helping our communities." Mold Federal Mining Incorporated has placed an open order for animal meat, fish, sure that those contributed to the initiatives, which will be used to support the manufacture of new personal computers. As the Supertech campaign drew to an end, company CEO Scorpio Devoro issued the following statement. "I can't thank the galactic community enough for its support. We believe the talk is something really special, and due to the support we've had we can begin manufacture at once." His business rival Maddox Hurd, CEO of Herculean Machines, had this to say. "We've received an awe-inspiring response, proving that pilots everywhere want technology that can stand the test of time. Pilots who contributed commodities to Supertech can collect their awards from Robertsport, in the FedMix system, while pilots who contributed commodities to Herculean Machines can collect their awards from Cowper in the Anima system." Presidential candidates on the campaign trail. The three candidates for the Alliance presidency have spent much of the past week delivering their campaign messages. Incumbent President Gibson Kincaid, who seeks re-election, has demanded radical change to the Constitution. To occupy the same league as the other superpowers, we need a single ruler with overall control. I ask that you empower me to lead the Alliance into a new era of strength and unity. That is my vision. An increase in commerce is the focus for entrepreneur Fazia Silva. The current president is driven entirely by ego, as are all career politicians, but it's money that makes the galaxy go round. Only by investing in trade and industry can the Alliance truly grow. Councillor Elijah Beck has been critical of his rival's approach. President Kincaid has little respect for our values, and Miss Silva wants to make it easier for her companies to increase profits. The Alliance deserves a president who puts the well-being of its people first, rather than their own selfish goals. The new president of the Alliance will be announced in October. Starport Status Update. This report presents the latest data on starports experiencing technical issues as a result of Thargoid sensor-related interference. The following starports are currently closed. Bester Terminal, Gemnik. Black Station, Laosang. Burton Vision, Demakwana. Kapshidok, Dekt. Klinkstock, Inmino. Mooches Platform, Deacon Star. Pookstock, Hit 35873. Rennie Hub, Kupol Boomba. Seminas Hub, Newark. St. Clair Colony, Sankungu. Smith Landing, Amber. Somerset Station, Icarone. Winkfist Terminal, NLTT 57216. Meanwhile, the following starports are on the brink of closure.
Lighting gear deployed.
Automated flight control protocol now offline. Thank you, Commander. me on board, Commander. Roger that. Holding. We'll await further orders.
Transfer successful. I have control. Affirmative. Home ship is now in my hands. Fighter retrieval sequence ready, Commander. Retrieval process complete, Commander.
Docking permission authorized. You may proceed to landing pad 05.
Landing gear deployed.
Docking procedure completed. Ship secured. Greetings, Commander.